subscribe to the Donnie Houston podcast, man. Can you tell me how instrumental, because we always hear about it, how Jay really played that role in your Suge Knights and your Irv Gottis, and how he really was the one to serve as like y'all got, everybody came to get the game from y'all. You know what I'm saying? For as the independent side of things, independent label wise, like
because that was the key. Man, it ain't for us; it's for everybody. So, all of them used to come and just sit in the studio or go in the office, and if they man, teach them what you know. And that's just like if you look at any of them independent labels, they took our street promotion game and made people recognize who they was. It was the street promotions, cause at the time radio, they just wasn't showing a bunch of love to independent labels off the bat. So you'll go to the streets with your music. So they start seeing how we move, how we mob, how we wear, where we went. And we didn't have to make clubs play our music. It was just we had good music, and then they seen how we moved. So that's why they used to come and Jay give them that part of the game for us, how to structure their label, what to do, what not to do, how to structure their deals. And then they'll come through the office and see how the office set up. And then they'll go out. Certain people say, for instance, you work certain part of a label, man, go out tonight, Spook, take them out with you. And we'll take them out.
I was really giving them the game for real.
Yeah. That's the only way you're going to get it. You weren't going to get it no other way, because we had to get ours the hard way. We ain't had nobody to give it to us. So we just figured it out. We just figured, go to the streets. Just keep putting it in the street, putting it in their face, and and that's the only way. Other labels, like even I remember the first time I ever met P. I think we was at a BRE convention in New Orleans, and they was moving, and next thing I know, he ended up in the office with Jay. Yeah, and that's how I met them. We done the same thing with them, done the same thing with Cash Money, done the same thing with all them cats. And you got to show them, because people ain't gonna, man, everybody was just about the money back then. I'm talking about, you had everybody had their hands out, and really they play words games with people. They'll tell you, I can get the record played. And you look at SoundScan, and you look, hey man, I give you $15,000. You got my record played one time. Man, I said I can get it played.
Yeah.
They done what they said. They say in them word games versus, man, I ain't tell you I was gonna break the record for no $15,000. So that's just how them radio people was, man. They were playing all kind of word games.
I was just gonna ask you about that, because you kind of said like we wasn't really interested in radio. What radio really giving y'all a time like that, like a hard time with trying to get it?
They was giving everybody a hard time. Radio was back then. Radio, if you didn't have a hit record, or you wasn't paying them like they wanted, you wasn't gonna get no record played. That's why we grind. We was street grinding. We grinded out in them streets and got our money. We were like, we ain't gonna let no suckers hold no noose around our neck to try to get nothing played. When and that's just how we looked at things. Then we start hiring radio personnel, dudes in house that it's your job to
work the record.
Yeah, with their job. Once we start focusing on radio, and then, a lot of time those cats, they traveling around the country going to these stations, and you look at their invoices, man, you done spent $35,000 and ain't getting nothing done. So it was the same, staying in suites when I'm living in and I'm staying in a motel. You living in a suite. And so it was like, the game was real. The game was real crafty back then. It was like, man, you had to really pay attention and be on your note. You'll be spending a lot of money and ain't getting nothing done. And that was Jay's biggest thing, man. If he gonna ask if I spend this money, how I'm gonna make it back. And so that was we start once we start seeing that was the motto. Man, don't spend no money if we ain't getting it ain't gonna get no results out of it. So that's why the markets I would choose, if I had 21 markets, I'm gonna look at SoundScan and I'm gonna look at the hottest markets. And I'm gonna focus on them markets because it's already fire there. And once I get fire there, I'm gonna see where I got some smoke at. And I'm gonna go where the smoke at and try to start some fire where the smoke at. But I ain't going to Omaha, Nebraska. There ain't nothing going on in there. Man, well, let's go to Omaha, Nebraska.
It's a waste.
Man, I'm not. So that's just how I looked at it, as wherever some fire at, that's where I kind of focus on where the fire at. And back then you had a lot of them them video shows, local video shows. So I kind of focused on a lot of local video shows too. All the local video shows, now they had them underground, them pirate stations. I focused on the pirate radio stations, anything that was underground, anything focused to the streets. And then, but as time went on, I just built relationships with dudes in radio, and then I run into them. Man, I put it in the mix show. And they start a lot of records in the mix show. And that's why we got a lot of love out of the mix shows, and then you get a lot of requests from the mix show. So when you see you get a lot of requests, then they'll start playing it on the overnight. Then you look up, they playing it they'll ease the record in. Cause some records, you can't deny, some records just good records. So, and that's what I used to like about the mixers. The mixers, they like to play what they like to play back then. So the mixers was some good cats, but the mainstream radio cats, and some of them dudes, they was just some arrogant dudes, man. And they were just real arrogant. Feel like they had a stronghold over the game. And I look at artists today, it's like reason why people be asking, man, why you don't mess with the music no more? I don't like the way the system is. I don't like what artists have to go through to try to get somewhere, and it's harder now than it was then, and it take them more to do what they gotta do now than it did. Then you got all these dudes, taking artists' money and how much you gonna put them on the showcase, and we gonna do this and we gonna do that, and at the end of the night, the last artist who performing by herself, cause most of the other artists is gone. So that's another part of the game that I look at and I be like, that ain't cool. You got underground artists. These people done put all their creativity into their music, and you charging them to perform. They ain't nobody. They ain't nobody. So what you think they gonna get out of that? Versus what we used to do. If you're a local artist, we'll let you open up for a big act and for free and tap into his fan base. If I call myself helping you, man, let that man open up for them. My thing, I used to tell him, man, you better burn that stage up. If you trying to tap into them people crowd, don't get up there faking. Put your best music first. And that's the only thing I tell her, quit saving your best song for last.
You only got one time to make that first impression, man.
Put your best music first, and that's what a lot of them used to do. Try to put their best music last. And then once I hear one or two songs, he ain't working with nothing. Then all the time you got your hit record last. So that's just my thing with a lot of these cats the way they do artists. I just don't like how they do artists, and I can't. And it ain't on me to knock your hustle.
Hmm.
You know, it ain't on me to knock your hustle. That's your hustle. If you hustling, that's your hustle. Then I ain't finna be sitting, man, y'all wrong and y'all. That's the game now.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
You know, that's just the nature of the game. So I just can't see myself doing and dudes try to get me to do it at fifth level all the time. I'll be like, man, I don't do showcases. You know, if you want to bring a artist in here and let them perform and let them open up for them, cool. But I ain't finna charge nobody to come in here to do no showcase, be charging artists to, cause where the fans at?
Right, right, right.
You know, ain't no fans in here, so who they performing for? You bringing 10 people, he got 4, 5 people, he got left. When you perform, your people gone with you.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and people gonna show love on the strength, but it's you really they acting like it's really a competition when it's not.
Yeah.
You know, you really trying and you look around in the room, ain't nobody really in that room to help them people.
Yeah, it'd be money grabs.
Oh yeah, that's
It's
all
money
it
grab,
is.
yeah.
So, you know, that's their hustle, but you know, that's why I ain't really even thought about fooling with the music since I've been home. I kind of went out to the takeover a few times after I got in to kind of see how things were still going, to see how music is still being produced and see what direction the music industry is going in. Learned what I need to learn and peeped and synced everything I needed to see. And then I was like, nah, I ain't ready for that yet. I just created me a lane.
Hmm.
Donnie Houston.